and gentlemen, my name is Plus, and this is your TNA review for August 1st. Now, we are a bit late to the show, 7 days late, but TNA comes on tomorrow, so I figured before the next show comes on, before I'm 2 shows late to reviewing them, let's get into it, because trust me, I have an opinion. And my opinion's gonna dip in and out, because I'm only getting into certain things, and then the other stuff that I see, I'm kind of like a little wary about. So we had the Rascals, they started off by going against Speedball. We had the Rascals go against Speedball Mountain and Kudishka. How you say his name? Kudishka? Kadushka? However you say his name. I remember him in NXT. He was a fun character. And yeah, anyway, that's what we got. We end up getting the Rascals winning, and that just carrying on their momentum for what we seen last night during NXT. The timeline's a little fucked up. What we seen on the NXT August 6th show was the Rascals officially get taken apart completely and by the hands of Wes Lee out of everything, which is kind of crazy because you would have thought that, like, or you know, when you're looking through his perspective, hey, you know, finally got my boys back, it's time to get back to work. But you know, he's found a lot more success as a singles guy. We had Rosemary versus Cristarda. I don't know who that other girl is. She the one thing I did notice in this Rosemary match, this was from the promo last week or the week before that we had gotten, right? This show felt more like a show after Slammiversary than the show before that, the actual show after Slammiversary. I don't know. In this gimmick, basically, Rosemary is she's one of the forgotten people. You know how Abyss, he went and did his thing. The other members of their team kind of faded off and they're doing their things, and now, you know, she's kind of the last one standing. You know, where the fuck is Crazy Steve? I remember he was around. He's wherever. You know, the only person left right now is Rosemary. Then we had Frankie Kazarian versus Ryan Nemeth. Now this took place because of you know, the lead up towards Nick Nemeth versus Mustafa Ali, and the Nemeth brothers were backstage the week before. They were talking. Frankie Kazarian, you know, he was talking a little bit of his rah-rah, you know, saying that, you know, it was him and Nemeth, final 2 in the ring at Slammiversary. There's no reason why he shouldn't be next in line for that title, you know, just because of everything he did at Slammiversary, all that good stuff. You know, Ryan Nemeth, he's not gonna let you down, you know, talk the trash about his big brother, especially to his face, in his face, you know, he had to do something about it. Well, didn't, because Frankie Kazarian won, but, you know, put on a good effort. Alright, and we had Jody Threat versus Masha. Listen, I felt like I went to the bathroom during this match. Now, this is no disrespect towards these ladies. Again, when you see these reviews, the more you see these reviews, they're gonna get more in depth. I'm gonna get more into it. I'm gonna have more of an opinion on other people. Now, since I have purchased TNA, and since I purchased TNA Plus, I've literally just been like rewatching like everything over the last like 3 to 4 months, just so I can try to understand what got us into Slammiversary and what exactly is the situation coming out, because those last couple of weeks going into Slammiversary, I'd say those last like 3-4 weeks now coming out, we had this NXT takeover, and I feel you know, it's hard to keep up sometimes when it comes down to TNA, because a lot of times their stuff is pre-recorded, you know, so you'll get the fatigue crowds, you'll get the you know, certain things happening where they shouldn't happen. Like, I'm not sure if, like, for example, I'm pretty sure they end up writing their TV based off of how NXT is gonna write their TV. Like, I don't expect to see another Rascals tag team match because they broke up last night, so I'm very, you know, curious how they're gonna do this whole thing. When it comes to TNA's way of you know, recording, I've always been more on the side of do it live, do it there. I don't know if they have the fan base for it. I don't know if they have the I just don't know if they have it, but if they do, that's the place to do it. I noticed last night NXT, you know, they had an advertisement that broke Twitter. Like, they have a show coming up where, you know, CM Punk's gonna be featured, another show where Randy Orton's gonna be featured. Those are NXT shows. Now, I'm guessing during the new push to the CW network, NXT is gonna start going on the road. This may sound like a step backwards for some people, but I think this could be a step forward for TNA. Now, with NXT going on the road and with this new partnership coming in, and with all these new eyes coming to TNA and all these new people looking at TNA needs to buy, so wherever they're located in, they need to buy a local venue, put money into it, and run off of there. Just going forward, like how NXT was with Full Sail, how they are now with this, you know, new NXT place, I feel like it'll be genuinely just better overall. You get those diehard fans who maybe live in the area and come watch a show. You get those people who are gonna come in and check out a show of NXT. You have just a overall selective place. I just feel like it's easier when you have that one place you run your weekly shows out of, especially with TNA really having that, Impact being its one specific brand. I seen something where they have an Explosion. I'm not too sure what that is, but I'm pretty sure that's just more tapings. So it's not like we're getting two different specific big shows with heavy storylines. We're just getting this show, our main show, then a match. Kind of like how I did with Mayhem back in season 2, how it was just kind of like the Raw aftermath. Like, that's exactly what, Explosion comes off to me. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm still getting into all this, but from a casual, that's how it looks to me so far. And I gotta call everything out exactly how I see it, so that way, when I do become more of a bigger fan of, Impact and whatnot, and I know all these people, it'll make more sense. All right, then we have Mike Santana versus Campaign Singh. So, this all started because this Campaign Singh guy is like the head fucking like security for Mustafa Ali and his whole campaign stuff, and Ali basically called him on the phone and told him to make himself useful. It didn't, not in the smartest way. He went after Mike Santana. I don't even know why you would do that. He didn't go after him. He more kind of walked up to him and issued a challenge, and Santana let him know that, listen, I ain't scared of you. I'm looking to get my reps in anyway. I'll wrestle you, but you smell like a bitch. Nah, genuinely, that's what he said. He cut off the bitch part, but it was good stuff. I like Mike Santana. I like what he can, coming off, again, as a casual of watching this new and improved TNA Impact Wrestling after years. Mike Santana comes off to me like a 2015 Dean Ambrose, if that makes any sense. Like, I could be wrong, but the way his comedy is and just how he's placed in Impact right now, he just seems like that guy, but there's nothing wrong with that guy. Now, a lot of people like to, back then shit on the Dean Ambrose character, but Ambrose was one of the main pillars at the time, kind of holding the WWE up. Even if he wasn't embroiled with his hatred rivalry with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, even when they did the brand split in 2016, Ambrose was a strong figure. Even as WWE champion, he wasn't looked at as like how Roman Reigns is looked at as champion. He wasn't looked at as how Seth Rollins was looked at, or how even a Drew McIntyre or a Gunther is going to be looked at. He was more of on the comedy side, but it fit his character because when you got in the ring with him, he was gonna be nasty. Okay, he was gonna do some work, and that's how I feel about Mike Santana. He has those funnier sides to him, but overall, it's like at the end of the day, you don't want no smoke from Mike Santana. You just do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? Who else did? Oh, this is the main event. What I've been looking forward to. We got Nick Nemeth versus Mustafa Ali. Now, this match was a good match. Now, could it have been better? Yes. Now, because this match was the final match that Mustafa Ali was in, I'm a little curious on why they didn't go a little further than what they would have. Now, TNA did pretty good the last 2 weeks that I watched, keeping on its time, being pretty sure it's 8 to 10. They could have went a little OT. I ain't gonna lie, they on their own network. You feel me? I know they on Access TV as well, but listen, this is why TNA Plus is what to get. You feel me? On other networks like USA, Sci-Fi, I don't know if it's like Axel TV or whatever, but whatever it's on, the whole idea, right? Like, if I had my company, my wrestling organization on the USA Network, and I knew my time slot was from 8 to 10, I might still push 5-10 minutes over that time for the people who are streaming it on TNA Plus. That is one of the perks that you'll get. It's not a confirmed perk. It's not a perk that is gonna happen every single time that we watch the show every week. But for matches like this, where this is gonna be the last time for a while that we see Ali and TNA, and this is the first championship match that Nick Nemeth is in since winning the title, I want it to come off a bit prestigious. And imagine if you're watching right on TV and it cuts off because your next show comes on or whatever, but they let you know right as they're cutting to black, TNA Plus subscribers, the match is still going on live. Keep it updated on your Twitter the same way they would every other match and segment, and then when it comes down to niggas who are watching on TNA Plus, nothing ends. It keeps going for you. Maybe that fade to black will be a commercial break and we'll say, we'll be back right after this, or it'll just end for the people right there and it just fades to black, and then it cuts right back on. It literally goes from fade to black to fade right back up because this portion is for people who are watching on TNA Plus. That right there, I feel like will make me a little more, I don't know, just more excited. You know, it's have that idea that matches can go OT and it's not going to get cut off, or we got to worry about fast finishes. Now, trust me, Ali and Nemeth, they worked great. The finish was clean. Like, the Famouser was good. It felt a little rushed, and this is where I say they could have got those extra 5 to 10 minutes, but we get what we get, you know? Now, let's look at the tail of the tape. I love these things. Now, we had Nick Nemeth being height-wise at 6 foot, and Ali is 5'10", which I knew this. I knew Ali was 5'10", but I never knew that Nemeth was 6 foot. So I don't know why I thought they were the same height. I feel like they matched off pretty similarly. Anyway, weight-wise, you got Nemeth weighing at 206 pounds. He just beat that 205 limit. And then you got Mustafa Ali being a solid 200 pounds. So you got Nemeth with the not only the height advantage, but you got him with the size advantage. Now, when it comes down to this matchup, I knew Nemeth was going to win. Again, should have put the title on him at Rebellion, but I knew he was going to win. I got a feeling they're going to keep the title on him for a while. By the way, something that isn't in my notes, and I didn't get a chance to mention, I don't know if I'll have any images for it, the system, bro. I am in love with the system. Why am I in love with the system now that they don't have the titles than when they had the titles? I don't know if I'm the only one neither, but I fuck with the system. The system are those things, you know what I'm saying? Now, we all know that Seth Rollins' build is way better than him getting the title. Like, the chase is always better. I got a feeling the chase for the system is about to go stupid. But anyway, yeah, back to this. You know, you got Nemeth having the size, the weight. Signature moves, you got Ali with the 450 splash and the sharpshooter, and then you got Nemeth with the super kick and the danger zone. The danger zone is basically the zigzag. Now, as far as Ali's X Division Championship reign, so something that I was a little confused about here, and you know, it kind of made me feel like they just wanted to bump up the accolades for Mustafa Ali, because it says former X Division champion in a 320-day like singles undefeated streak, which I get that streak was beaten at and I get that streak was beaten at Slammiversary. And it's a big streak to talk about, but it just doesn't hold the same weight. You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, you know, obviously you got, you know, Nick Nemeth being reigning TNA World Champion, 2-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and a 1-time AAA Mega Champion. Now, the great, amazing part about this whole TNA NXT crossover is that they can mention all this WWE Champion stuff, and it won't look like a shot or them looking like they're trying to ride coattails. Like, I've seen in the past iMPACT mention WWE because the superstar was fucking in WWE and people would shit on it, but like accept it with AEW. Very confusing. I want this for just going forward, you know, like when we seen the tail of the tape for Cody versus Roman at 39, I fully expected to see TNT champion, all that, because those are accolades. Even if those aren't championships that hold value in your company, they still hold value. And the fact that they would argue and say that it doesn't hold value would eliminate the superstar from being as prestigious as he is, because that title or that reign or that specific time got him to this dance. So, you know, sometimes they throw me off with a couple of things, but overall, okay, good show. You know, as I do my research on this PCO character, at least for recently, like, I get that he's had a long, you know, great career, but have his wedding being the main event of your iMPACT show, probably would have started the show with that. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they started the show with the Rascals, which they didn't need to do, because the Rascals, before yesterday, mind you, are so good to where, like, they can come out at any point in the show and get an automatic pop. So, like, I feel like the Rascals should be looked at as your crowd booster, and I understand why they would want to start their show like that, but at the same time, this segment had no reason to be in the main event. Oh, wait, before we get to this wedding, I forgot to fucking mention, Nemeth was celebrating, and Josh Alexander came out. What the fuck are we doing with Josh Alexander, dude? This is a walking weapon. He should be embroiled in the most hated, I'm talking CM Punk, fucking Drew McIntyre level feud on TNA with Joe Hendry, and he's not. Hendry's feuding with Gallus. All they did is say his name. I gotta be missing something here. Like, when it comes to some things, TNA, like, they just shock. They genuinely shock me, bro, because, like, am I bugging here? Like, yes, I get it. Fatal 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever you want to say, Slammiversary. Josh Alexander technically did beat Joe Hendry, but he blowed him out of what a lot of people thought was going to be his title, and Joe Hendry hasn't done anything about it. It's going to be on TNA this week, going against another Gallus boy. I fully expected for Joe Hendry to beat Joe Coffey last night at Great American Bash and Josh Alexander come out. The week before, when he had his concert, that was shoe made for Josh Alexander. Why did Gallus come out? Why did Gallus hit him with the guitar? And now you're telling me that we're gearing up for Nemeth beat Alexander when it's not the time to do that? This is like the definition of like throwing all your eggs in a basket when you don't need to. From what my knowledge, from what people have been telling me, Motor City Machine Gun and fucking Joe Hendry are the only guys confirmed right now, semi-confirmed, that they'll be going to WWE when this whole, you know, split is said and done. So why aren't we, so like, because if I'm sorry, I'm a little like, you know, out of words here. I'm a little lost of words here, you know, because like, when I see things that are so obvious in your face and then we get the complete opposite, it just confuses me. This should have hands down, because I feel like we all know Joe Hendry's going to NXT after this whole thing. You want to get Josh Alexander the most amount of heat that you can possibly get him, so then when he goes against Nemeth, he comes off as the big babyface world champion like they want him to be. It doesn't have that much heat right now. It can get that much heat if you would have embroiled Alexander and Henry in a blood-boiling feud, being Henry's final feud in TNA, and Alexander, he could have been the one to take Joe Hendry out of TNA completely. This was made for Alexander to be the walking weapon that he is. Beat the shit out of Joe Hendry so much, they have a crazy back and forth match going into the next pay-per-view, and then he does what he has to do. Maybe he loses to Hendry at the pay-per-view, and then he snaps after the match, attacks Hendry, hits him with weapons over and over, and then a couple of weeks later, Hendry lets it be known that his new home is NXT. You just gave Alexander so much heat, because the last thing that people remember of Hendry was him getting the absolute shit beat out of him by Josh Alexander, a guy who was in the company before Joe Hendry, a guy who can use the rub from Joe fucking Hendry, a guy who is going to be fine when he goes to NXT. But is Josh Alexander? This is gonna be good because Alexander's a great wrestler. This is gonna be good because Alexander's good on the mic. This is gonna be good because he's passionate about what he's doing. But it could be better. Why are we settling for good when you are in the position to make TNA so much better? Why do we do it? I don't understand, but that's my review. Love you guys so much. Next time you see me will be for the August 8th show, which will be tomorrow. So the goal is probably drop a little gaming video tomorrow, and then we'll drop the review Friday before Mayhem. So yeah, love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, by the way, I just realized that I didn't go over the whole Matt Cardona return. Yeah, so Matt Cardona returned to impact. He basically went after PCO, and what it's seeming like it's gonna be PCO versus Cardona, because Cardona ruined the wedding. Yeah.